What's happening, people? It's the big one. Mayweather McGregor. There's a lot to say about it. I'm going to open with a fairly bold statement, and that statement is this: Conor McGregor has absolutely no chance in hell of outboxing Floyd Mayweather, of beating Floyd Mayweather in a sole boxing match, of getting anywhere near Floyd Mayweather. McGregor is an incredible fighter. He's very, very talented. He's dynamic. He's explosive. He's skillful. He's what I would call an accomplished jack of all trades. His in mixed martial arts, he's incredibly effective. His striking is brilliant. His groundwork's okay, but his striking is brilliant, and that's how he's made a name for himself. The problem comes when people think that translates into a boxing ring. There's so many differentials, there's so many variables that come into it the minute you limit your ability to use other martial arts, other aspects of your physicality. So, for example, whereby McGregor is used to being able to hold in close, being able to kick to the legs, kick to the stomach, rather than jab, where he's used to being able to maintain balanced footwork against someone who's rushing forward. None of those things are going to work against Mayweather. McGregor he's an accomplished striker in MMA because, and this is going to go down fairly poorly with a lot of the MMA guys, but the quality of the punching is significantly different in boxing in comparison to MMA. Namely for technical reasons, because if you can set your feet correctly, like in boxing, if you can plant your feet, you can punch correctly with maximum power because you have a firm base to punch from. You can't really afford to do that in MMA, and so few fighters do, because you have to be on your toes to avoid kicks to the legs, takedowns. And that's why a lot of boxers don't translate well when they go into MMA, because inevitably the first point of attack for most MMA fighters is to go straight for the legs against boxers. Now that being said, if Mayweather went into an octagon, McGregor would wipe him out within 1 5-minute round. The leg shots, the grappling, even the striking would be completely different, because the combination of movements between hands and feet is something that McGregor is significantly better at. The ability to change height to so many different heights and so many different work off so many different levels and angles. Boxing is not MMA. McGregor is not a good boxer. He relies solely on two counter punches when he's fighting. And that's the short left hand, the counter off the jab. He's nice and long. He uses the right hand to parry their lead first hand, drives the left hand across. Beautiful punch. That's not going to work against Mayweather. I'll give you the reasons in a minute. And the other punch is the short right hook as guys come in. The one he caught Aldo with. Again, not going to work. What's lacking in MMA in comparison to in boxing is that defense. Defense in boxing is significantly better than in MMA, because they're learning to defend against only two things. Because you have the ability to defend against only two things, a left and a right hand, you don't have to think about too many things at once. So perfecting your defense is a lot easier, because you're not thinking about takedowns, you're not thinking about kicks. So the defense is advanced in the sense that you are far more able to cope with punches. So McGregor's left hand isn't going to get anywhere near Mayweather. He's not Zab Judah. He's not Guerrero. He's not Manny Pacquiao. I mean, Pacquiao got absolutely wiped out by Mayweather. He got decimated. He beat him so comfortably. It was ridiculous. It was an embarrassing 11-round landslide. And anyone who thinks differently, you can argue with me if you like, but you clearly don't understand boxing. If you watch that fight, if you watch the accuracy of shots and the defense that Mayweather took into the fight, and he won it so easy, it's ridiculous. Pacquiao wasn't really even landing with anything significant. And Mayweather will utilise the skills he's learned and improved as he's progressed in boxing, as a 49-fight unbeaten professional fighter with I think it's 20 world title fights, and at however many different 4 or 5 different weight classes. It's ludicrous. The fight even happening is ridiculous, but it's an incredibly poignant business investment for both of them, because they're both going to come out of it significantly wealthier. And McGregor losing does nothing to his reputation. No one really expects him to win. Mayweather winning does nothing to affect his reputation, because everyone in boxing wants him to win, because it shows that boxing is a superior sport in the sense of hand-to-hand combat using fists only. So it's just a big sell, mate. It's a massive sale, and people are going to be lapping it up. I don't blame them. It's a spectacle. It's entertaining. What I predict is that the punch that makes the fight an easy win for Mayweather is the jab. McGregor isn't used to a jab being used as a weapon, because in MMA the jab isn't a weapon. In MMA, when guys jab, it's generally just a rangefinder, and they're looking for the big bomb over the top, or they're trying to throw the left hand hard, because they don't tend to waste punches. Whereas in boxing, the jab is a foil. It's like fencing. You're finding openings. Boom, boom to the body, boom to the head. And Mayweather uses his jab like McGregor uses that front kick to the gut, or the swift kick around the leg, the roundhouse around the legs. McGregor isn't going to get past that. After watching the footage that both sides released of him sparring with Van Heerden, I mean, he's a subpar, border world level fighter, and he's not even putting any effort into that. He's landing jabs willy-nilly against McGregor. McGregor has no structured defense. He's going to get eaten up by jabs and by counter right hands. He's going to be leading with that left hand, trying to dive in with the left, and Mayweather's going to be slipping under it and rolling out all day long. In close, he can't punch in close. Diaz outworked him in close comfortably when they fought. And actually, he's a very range-specific puncher, in the sense that his punches lack significant power if they're not at the right range, because his footwork enables him to do that. Whereas in boxing, that's not going to happen, not with Mayweather, who controls and dictates movement, pace, and distance so well. Also, McGregor isn't used to guys being able to punch from a long way away. Mayweather has incredible accuracy and wastes very few punches, and he has a great variable nature to the range of his punches. He can throw long hooks, long uppercuts, short uppercuts, body, head, straight, short, small counter punches, fast punches in close, all intermittently mixed with his defensive movements and his footwork. McGregor has no chance. I try and see a chance. I try and see an opportunity. But if you look at what Mayweather did to Canelo, now Canelo is an incredible fighter. He's very skillful. He's very strong. He's very big. And Mayweather, for me, beat him easier than he beat Pacquiao. Now I'm hearing a lot of arguments for specific things for McGregor. So the first one is the McGregor being a southpaw and Mayweather sucks against southpaws. Incorrect. That's an absolute load of bullshit. Mayweather struggled against southpaws when he was at lighter weights and boxed differently. Ever since he moved up to welterweight and beyond, he's found boxing southpaws comfortable, because he's relied on setting his feet more and being in a more defensive position from the start. So it's enabled him to react fast to punches. He's been hurt before. McGregor's been beaten before. Diaz hit him all over the place before. People get hurt. It's the fight game. Just because someone's been hurt by a southpaw doesn't mean they're shit against southpaws. He's now, I would say, accomplished at fighting southpaws, especially the way he dismantled Pacquiao, a guy who the world thought was unstoppable, and that his volume would just destroy Mayweather, and he couldn't even get near him. So that's point one. Everyone's saying McGregor's going to be southpaw and Mayweather can't cope with that. The other one is that McGregor's so much bigger than Mayweather. Who gives a fuck? That doesn't matter. Alvarez is now boxing at super middleweight, at middleweight, coming into fights at 168, 170 pounds, and Mayweather didn't change his weight. You know what I mean? He's coming in huge in comparison, and it doesn't even remotely affect Mayweather, because at the end of the day, boxing skills win boxing fights, not being a big person. Size is irrelevant outside of the heavyweight division, let's be honest. So yeah, that's the weight issue. Also, McGregor isn't the kind of person who will lay on Mayweather and use his size to his advantage anyway, because how's he ever going to throw punches in there? He can't fight in close like that. He's used to using elbows and knees, not throwing punches in close. So for me, that's null and void. The other one is I saw someone talking about how psychologically Mayweather is going to lose the battles. He's had 49 pro fights. He's known as the best ever. You can't deny his prodigious talent. He's beaten world-class fighters fight after fight after fight after fight. He's won at various different weights. He's now a prolific businessman. He's training other guys, or involved in the nurturing of other guys. What on earth is McGregor ever going to psychologically be able to do against Mayweather? They've been arguing before fights before. It doesn't affect him, because when he goes in the ring, he's a different animal. He goes out there to box, to win, and to dominate, and that's what he does every time. So the other thing is I heard discussion of McGregor's unorthodox angles. Now, for me, that's the only thing that could offer him any kind of reprieve in the fight, because his ability to punch with power from different positions to what Mayweather is actually used to, could offer him opportunity to land shots where Mayweather wouldn't necessarily be expecting punches to come from, because they're unorthodox, and most fighters don't throw them. But Mayweather isn't a fucking idiot. He's going to be sparring guys who are unorthodox. He's going to be looking at styles that mirror the McGregor sort of long, leaning out right hand, tap down left hand, short hook kind of style, with the bent knees and the wide stance. He's not an idiot. He's been in the game a long time. He's got an incredible team around him. They're not stupid. Final point is this, and this is my conclusion to the whole thing. Everybody is being ripped off. You are going to watch what is not a boxing match. It's not a boxing match. It's an exhibition match between a boxer and the best boxer there's been for the last 30 years, 20 years. The best boxer there's been for the last 20 years against a highly accomplished MMA fighter who's been very successful and has enhanced and developed a character that's made him worthy of the fight with Mayweather, because the root reason for the fight is purely that they are both going to be absolutely minted 2 minutes after the fight's over. They will be richer than you could possibly believe, and what more do they need? I don't blame them for it. It's brilliant business. People buy it. I'm going to watch it. Of course I'm going to watch it. It's fighting. You've got to watch these things. You always hope that something random could occur, and maybe McGregor will wobble him or hurt him, or get a couple of rounds in. Like, boxing slightly different to what Mayweather may be used to. I hope for that, because it'll make an exciting fight, and it'll be interesting to see Mayweather not out of his depth, but in a maybe a different swimming pool, But that's it, guys. That's all it is. It's a money making prospect, a money making opportunity for two guys who are already very wealthy and are only going to get richer. Mayweather wins comfortably, late stoppage or UD, easy, no struggles, probably 11-10 round landslide, just like against Alvarez and Pacquiao. That's it, guys. Yeah, peace out. Hope you like it. Let me know what you think. Yeah, give me some comments, and I'm happy to have a chat with everyone about what they think, their opinions. But everyone's entitled to their opinion, so don't give me a load of bullshit about it, guys. It's just my opinion on it, my review of it. Let me know what you think, though. Yeah, cool. Cheers, guys.